Now, good evening and welcome to Oriel Park. We've got the team news for you here. It's Kieran Burke and I'm delighted to be joined by Nigel Hegarty of the Finn Harps media team. I hope you can hear us because it is absolutely lashing rain here at Oriel Park this evening. I'll run you through the big significant team news in terms of Dundalk first of all. As we already knew coming into this game tonight, no Sonny Nattestad and no Yerkovskis. They're both away on international duty, but in comes Michael Duffy and Dara Leahy. Brian Gartland is fit enough for the bench, as is their new signing from South Korea. We'll go a hand for now until we get the correct pronunciation. But in goal, Tabibi, Dummigan, Daniel Cleary, Andy Boyle, Dara Leahy, as I said, comes into the side. Chris Shields wears the captain's armband tonight. Sam Stanton retains his place in midfield alongside Greg Sloggett. Junior also starting again tonight. Pat Hoban and Michael Duffy, a very potent attack for Dundalk tonight. Let's run you through the Finn Harps team. Significant team news from Finn Harps after their 1-0 win over Bohemians on the opening weekend. No Ryan Connolly or no Conor Barry in the matchday squad, so we can only assume those are injury concerns for Ollie Horgan. Mark McGinley starts in goal as ever. Kosovar Siddiqui in the back line alongside Dave Webster, Carlo Sullivan, Barry McNamee, Mark Coyle, Shane McElhenney. Mark Russell comes into the team for one of those injury players. Adam Foley, who got the goal last week, he starts. Ethan Boyle and Will Seymour all start for the away side, Finn Harps. And with that, I'll head to Nigel. Nigel, what do you make of that team news?
Well, obviously there's two enforced changes there, but with the little bit of extra strength and depth that Harps have this year, that these players are going to be fighting for places anyway. Conor Barry and Ryan Connolly both picked up knocks in the game against Bowes last week. There was a couple of other uncertainties, but obviously a couple of lads pulled through fitness tests here, one thing or another. But I'm quietly happy with the team that's out there. As I said, there's strength and depth in that squad this year for once, and everyone's fighting for a place, so it's a chance for the two lads to stake a place.
And just a quick recap on last week's game. What did you make of Finn Harps' performance, aside from the fantastic result? As a performance opening game of the season, happy enough, I'd imagine?
Yeah, well, look, most people would have been surprised enough by it, to be honest. No one would have given Harps a hope of getting a win out of it. There might have been some people said, take the form from last year and get a draw out of it, and we would have been happy enough. And most Harps fans would have said the same. But it was a battling performance. I think we surprised a few people as well. It wasn't, the same agricultural game that you expect from a Finn Harps side. So we're quietly happy and quietly confident going into this game as well. You have to build on that sort of thing. And
you've brought the Donegal weather with you this evening. Will that play into Finn Harps' hands at all?
I wouldn't mind. I have a friend that lives in Dundalk, and I texted him before I came down the road, and it says, what's the weather like? It's grand. I says, there's snow and hailstones and everything. I was leaving Dundalk, so it obviously followed me down the road.
Yeah. Just on the surface here, obviously, the added rain, it should be playing quite quick. That might also play into Dundalk's hands, but this wind at the moment, that's the one factor no team likes is a strong wind.
And look, it's a howling wind here at the minute. I don't know, you're probably picking it up through the microphones and everything. At this stage, it's a driving wind out there at the minute. It's going to make conditions very tough. The pitch is going to be very, very fast. I could even see them watering it there half an hour ago. So it's extra slippy out there tonight. It's not a night for the faint-hearted anyway.
I'm watching in from afar. What have you made of Dundalk's, how they put this squad together this season? There's a lot of really interesting characters, isn't there, coming into the league?
There's a lot of interesting signings there, and you can't argue with bringing in 3-4 full internationals there and a couple of youth internationals. They're building an interesting squad. Obviously, we don't know too much about them at the minute. We don't know too much about their new signings, and they'll take a while to gel. So there's probably no better time to play Dundalk than at the start of the year. But time will tell how they get on. But there's certainly a bit of pedigree about them anyway.
And for the Dundalk fans watching in this game tonight on WATCHLOI, who's the Finn Harps player we should be watching out for that maybe we don't know a huge amount about? We obviously know the likes of Barry McNamee and Dave Webster, Ethan Boyle. They're all well-established names in the League of Ireland. Is there anyone that's caught your eye in pre-season and in that opening game against Bowes?
I would say most we have a good continuity in the team from last year. Most people will know most of the squad there, but there's a couple of lads going under the radar. Kosovar Siddiqui's hit an immense finish to last year, and he had an incredible game last week at centre half. He'll definitely be one to watch. Mark Coyle has gone under the radar there as well. It wouldn't have been a fancied centre midfielder there by many. You're talking about Ryan Connolly, Will Seymour, these lads that are established players. Mark Coyle has gone about his business quietly, and he had a very, very solid game there last week. Could be one to watch in the middle too. And
I know, like yourself, you're like myself, you're a massive League of Ireland fan. It's not just Harps you follow the entire league. We've got the first division starting tonight. Some great opening fixtures. You've got Galway against Shells. You've got that Cork derby. How do you see the first division playing out this year?
Look, the two main teams going up against each other arguably tonight, you know, the likes of Galway and Shells, you know, the two teams that, you know, that are effectively full time, that have the budget above most of what's in the division. That'll be the game to watch tonight. But you can't discount the other teams. You know, Athlone have done very well signing. Cork and Cove, you know, they'll be fairly unknown, but there's still a couple of good quality players, and you know, it'll be a very, very evenly matched league this year. You know, I don't think there's going to be a runaway winner in it. People are predicting Galway and Shells are the two big budget teams, but I don't think there's going to be a runaway winner.
Bray were only pipped to the title last year, but they kicked the ball.
Yeah.
So,
well, look, Bray has gone very quiet. The Bray is another team gone under the radar again. You know, that they can surprise people. Yeah,
the players like Conor Clifford have come in there. I mean, and just finally on the Premier Division, some great games this weekend. Obviously, this is the first game. We've got the live game tonight, which is Sligo against Waterford. I think the game of the weekend for me potentially could be Pats against Drogheda.
Yeah, definitely. Look, Drogheda started strong again last week, as did yourselves. Longford there, you know, it was a surprise opening weekend, and Drogheda could spring another surprise again. Nobody will expect them to go out and beat Pats, but they'll fancy themselves after their win last week.
And before we let you go, give us a prediction for tonight.
Honest prediction, or
I'll put you out first. No Finn Harps win here at Oriel since 2006, and it's 2007 is the last time you won against Dundalk.
I was at that game here in 2006, and I remember that we had a good year in 2007, so I'm kind of hoping for something like that again. Maybe, I would say, you know, a safe draw tonight would be a nice result.
Nigel, thanks very much for speaking with us.
Cheers,